Hey, what's going on? This is a faceless video of another demonstration of NotebookLM in education and how it can be useful. Yeah, so just as some background, I've been using NotebookLM for like the last week, and it continues to demonstrate utility in all sorts of really interesting ways. I'm just going to talk about two of them, moving away from the student piece, right, to another thing here. I'm just going to show you a couple of different things that I've done recently that I thought was kind of interesting. One was a coaching session test. And so what I did was I had a video of a coaching interaction I had with a teacher last year where I was the coach and the teacher was somebody I was working with. And NotebookLM can take as a source file, it can take like MP3s. So I just took the video and I got the MP3 out of it. I actually converted it in QuickTime, which is why it's an M4A, but it would take an MP3 also. And I put that in. So I just uploaded the audio MP3 and it goes ahead and it makes a transcript of the video, which I think is very cool, or the transcript of the audio, pardon me. And then I can ask it questions. And so I was just playing around with it, right? Like, what are some moves that the coach does to move things forward in the conversation? What are the questions that the coach asks? And I thought that was pretty interesting. What are some potential improvement areas for the coach in terms of their coaching? What are some potential improvement areas for the teacher if they're interested? That was amazing to me, I should say. I've been using various other coaching tools in my institution back when I was a coach until last year. And they cost a lot of money and they do things like this, but not as well as this and not as easy and not as open either, right? Like I could query anything about that interaction here. And so then that got me thinking the other week I was actually recorded teaching a lesson. So I knew that audio existed of the entire lesson. So I figured, well, we might as well do the whole thing, right? We might as well really just go nuts. And so same deal, right? I just took the audio off of that clip. It was a bigger file, it was 80 minutes, and I put it in and it transcribed the whole thing in a matter of minutes, which was pretty ridiculous. And then I could ask it questions as well. And so, I could query whatever I wanted here, right? Like, what questions does the teacher ask? And it'll take a second and it'll think it through and it'll go through that source material. But what it will come up with is a list of every question that I asked during this exchange. And so that's really, really powerful. And the reason I was recorded was to look for evidence of different formative assessment practices. We're doing some work in our institution around that. So I really just queried this audio recording of me and I just pulled out like one of ours is clearly communicating the standards-based learning target. So I asked the notebook where I did that. And one was checking for understanding of the learning target. And one was the questions that I asked to increase the cognitive demand and how did I actively monitor student progress during the learning and when did I give consolidation opportunities? And you can see that NotebookLM really gives very detailed evidence from the queries. I'm still thinking here because I think it's just getting hit by a lot of stuff right now and it's also going through a big old transcript, but it came up with all this stuff. And then I figured, well, I might as well broaden it out. And so I figured I would just continue to just kick the tires on it. And so like acting as an instructional coach, what suggestions do you have for the teacher? And so here are some different suggestions that it gave me in terms of things I might do. What does the teacher do well? I wasn't really looking for my ego. I was just wondering what it would say. And so it shows the things that I did well in that lesson, and it points to evidence from the transcript each time. If you were an instructional coach, how would you use analysis to help support a teacher partner? Could you go through and track every student and the number of questions they were asked? That would be really, really helpful. And so it initially gave them names. I've redacted the names for the purpose of this video, but I will point out that it was about 95% accurate in their names, which I thought was pretty freaky. Now, I do call on students and I use their names a lot, so it's probably just picking that up from the audio. Give some student like response themes. Give me some professional development resources that might work. I will note that a couple of these don't seem to exist, but other ones do, or it's just the strategies themselves in there. And so I think that this is a pretty incredible thing. So now it's done over here, right? And so it's come up with all these questions. And so like if I click this one here, you can see where it shows up in the transcript over here. And I think you can see why it was taking a while. pretty incredible what it is doing here. I will say. But I guess my point here is that our institution spends a lot of money and resources on instructional coaching, and I think our coaches do an excellent job. But I will say that when I was a coach, I was never able to provide something as detailed as this document. And I would say that this is among the most detailed coaching third point documents that I have seen ever. And I'd like to think that I've looked into it a lot. And I'm sure there's a lot of instructional coaches out there who are like, well, hang on a second. I don't think I can be easily replaced by NotebookLM. And I'm not trying to suggest that here. What I am suggesting is that this kind of thing really unlocks like a next level in terms of the kinds of feedback you can give and in terms of the kinds of stuff that you can do. And it's available for free. So I figured I would make this quick video and just demonstrate how powerful this new thing is. It is remarkable. And I guess, if you want to listen to the podcast or any of that stuff, you get all that stuff in the Notebook LM file as well. Cool. I hope this was interesting for you. If it wasn't, sorry. If it was, that's great. Take it easy. Bye.